Yo, today we are going to be going over another newsletter, and this one is titled Tips for Practicing Consistency. And I'll go over 4 tips to help you stay consistent. And to start with the intro, I mentioned that consistency is a great way to build something over a long period of time. And I give an example saying that if you are consistent in the gym for 6 months, you will see results. If you write blog posts for 12 months, you will have a long history of posts. This is a great attitude to practice, however, it is easier said than done. And how do you stay consistent when things get difficult? Here are 4 tips that will help you practice your consistency. Okay, so we'll break this down. So I say consistency is a great way to build something over a long period of time. It is basically like it's almost a principle of the compound effect. Doing small or big steps every day, every week, every month to help you get to that big goal that you're working towards. So breaking things down and taking things step by step, and those steps, singularly, those steps may not mean much at all in the long term, but over time, when you take those small steps and times them by 300 days, that becomes 300 small steps, which becomes something very significant in the long run. And that's just an example of how small steps do make a difference, and knowing to take a different perspective and take a step back, like mentally take a step back and think about the bigger picture, and how going to the gym which I mentioned, going to the gym once a day. I think Jocko Willink mentions this. He says that one gym session is pretty much insignificant in the long term, if you think about it long term. However, going to the gym every day, or going to the gym consistently every week over the span of 6 to 12 months, you will see a difference. The key is to not look at things from the perspective of just a one time, of just each single step, because when you kind of look at it like that, it makes you not want to do it because you think that it doesn't matter anyway. It's a prevention from you taking small actions to benefit the end goal. Of course, I still advocate to take things one step at a time, and not think too much about the future, because it can be overwhelming and discouraging. However, there is a balance. Of course, there is always a balance in life, and I learned that through many things, that there is a balance. So one side of the balance is not thinking too much far ahead, and not causing like discomfort or anxiety, or overwhelming yourself with, I've just taken one step and it's 500,000 to go. And on the other side is not being too focused on each step that you're taking, and just focusing on that and not thinking about the future at all, because you'll take that one step and think that it just doesn't matter. This is just one step or one goal that will help me get to my goal. It's nothing that's very big in the grand scheme of things. And you'll take that attitude for every step or goal. Let's say you have 3 things you're supposed to do every week. You'll look at each one and be like, no, it's not worth it. And then you'll do that for the next one, and for the next 6 months, you end up realizing that you could have spent your time doing those small things, but you thought on each step, you thought, no, it's just too small. It's not going to help. So yeah, finding that balance between focusing, not spending too much time thinking about how big your goal is or the future, and at the same time not being too focused on just how small this single step is, and just finding that kind of balance. I hope that's clear to you guys, and let me know in the comments what you guys think about that whole aspect, and that whole balance of looking far ahead, but not focusing too far ahead, so you prevent resistances that can come along the way, and it'll make it easier for you down the road. So Anything else I mentioned in this? I mentioned that it's easier said than done, and I feel like most of this personal development, self improvement, help, self help kind of stuff, I think it is majority of the time when it comes to actions, it's easier said than done. Like you could tell someone to practice consistency, and I'll give you four, for example, 4 tips or 4 steps you can take, but it's just words at the end of the day to you. So you can read them and feel good that you read them, but taking action towards it will be harder. I would say it is harder than it's harder to act on what you read and what you learn, rather to learning it, and yeah, I stay true to that, because that's how I've perceived things. That's my own insight on that, and I want to know again what's your guys' insight on this, on that kind of statement, because you do hear it a lot. It's easier said than done, or it's easy to say and it's harder to do. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what you guys say in the comments. Okay, so let's get into the 4 tips. Let's get into the first one. I mentioned that the first one is to think long term. All right, so we've kind of got into this already, but have a long term mindset by thinking about the bigger picture. What is your end goal? This is a great way to start thinking about it if you haven't already. A lot of the time, all you need to do is think about where you want to be after accomplishing your goal, to work hard now. So a lot of the time, all you need to do is think about where you want to be after accomplishing your goal, to work hard now. Okay, yeah, so pretty much how I said about taking a step back, mental step back, and thinking about the bigger picture or the bigger goal or the end. What's your end in mind for this, for your certain dream or your passion or your, your purpose? And at least having some sort of mind map, because me personally, I have stuff written down, but it's not very clear. It's not very clear as of yet. Like, it's not absolutely clear, but I think it's good enough for me to kind of lead my life in a way that I feel like is in line with my values and beliefs and my purpose and all those sorts of stuff. So start by considering it and try writing something down, or recording something, or just having something as of notes that you have, that kind of is helpful for you to kind of think about and ponder, think about your future, think about the long term of stuff, so you don't get too stuck on short term things and swaying from day to day and not knowing where you want to go in life, and things becoming confusing. And I don't know if I'll ever go over that in the future, but I do have a lot of journals that I've had in my past, like for example, like this one. I'll have a lot of journals that I've built over like the past 3 years, and there are some logs that I've made before while I was, whether it was in business or just a personal log, where I've mentioned about not thinking long term and having to go over the emotional sways of day to day, because I haven't had a goal system to kind of to direct me, and yeah, so well, that's something I may get into in the future if you guys want that kind of discussion. The next point I mentioned is to find accountability resources. All right. I mentioned to you that you can use calendars, goal trackers, AI chats to keep you on track with completing your goal. This is a visual reminder of where you are and what you need to accomplish. And I say that if you use this on a weekly basis, you'll remain consistent as long as you take it seriously. And that is one half. That's one aspect. And I think in the next aspect, what I will mention is having actual accountability people. The first half is if you want to have an additional, or you prefer to have something that is not, you're not relying on a person, for example, you're relying on your own methods that doesn't require someone else, that's what I set the first half to. So I mentioned that you can use calendars, goal trackers, AI chats, or even journals, or whatever it is. Something to keep you in line, something that can keep you in check whenever you may fall off to the side and procrastinate here, or let fear stop you here, or something that can keep you consistent. Because again, it's easier said than done, and you'll have your own challenges that you face. I have my own challenges that I face. The next person will have their own challenges. So making sure that you have precautions in measure, or like some sort of plan B and some sort of safety system that it kind of helps you stay on track. And it feels like a boat, for example. You have some sort of anchor or some sort of first aid equipment, or some sort of something to keep the boat afloat, when things get rocky. So it's a great way to stay accountable for yourself, and make sure that you are keeping things moving and not stopping here, taking a long time off, coming back once, taking more time off, and because at that point you're not practicing consistency, you're being inconsistent. So the next half I mentioned is that you should use accountability partners that can help you stay on track, like for example your family, your friends, or someone that you know online, some sort of any communities or clubs or other people that can help you stay in line, and they can check up on you, or you can message them and let them know, or to speak to them in person and be like, I'm struggling here, or I'm keeping going, so is there anything you can input, or you can just shoot them a message or talk to them and let them know, yeah, I'm on track with my goal, or let them know I'm not on track, so I'll come back to you in a few days and let you know if I'm still not on track, or if I'm back on track. Those kind of things that because for me it's important for myself to remind myself that relying on others is a very important thing, because I mentioned before that doing things by yourself, it only takes you so far, whereas relying on others and helping others as well, it takes you so much further than just doing things by yourself, because it's just how we are as humans. We're good in one pack, we're good as one, but we're better as a group. I say here that this is the next part. So I mentioned that you should use family or friends, and I say that this is because it is easier for humans to rely on each other so we can accomplish more. Exactly, yeah. So exactly how I mentioned, and I say I'm quite direct in the next point where I mentioned that do not be arrogant and think you can accomplish it all by yourself. With the help of others, you can always accomplish more. Exactly how I see it. This is written 2 months ago, and I still view it the exact same way. Try not to let arrogance, pride, and ego shift you away from asking help from others, or using help from others, or helping others. When others ask you for help, or when you just feel like helping others. Because when you use the help of others, like I said here, with the help of others, you can always accomplish more. And that's as simple as, alright, that's that one. That was the second point. Set small goals. Set small goals is the third one. The third tip. I say that setting goals that you can accomplish for the day or week will help you break down your end goal and work on it consistently. Breaking down your bigger goals is a great way to work towards it, because it's simpler to work towards. And yeah, I still agree with that, because when you first start creating goals, you may start creating really big goals, and then when you look at them, you're like, oh, this goal is this is a bit too hard for me to. How am I even gonna get to this goal? Like, you might write, let's just say 1 hour pocket one. I want to be an astronaut, for example, or something along those lines. Or you may look at that and be like, how am I supposed to even how am I even supposed to get to there where I'm at right now? Because I'm nowhere near that. But if you break it down and understand the steps that are in place, the studying and the degree and the networking and the careers that you need to, events, any all of those sort of things that come into it. If you break things down and you can turn them broken down things into goals that you can work towards, it makes things easier to understand, because there is stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, but you also need to step in as well and notice the details, the fine details of things, so you can slowly start to understand the picture, you know, so and not just be confused or overwhelmed and things of that kind of nature. The next bit I say that in the next bit I say this is what consistency is about, taking things one step at a time consistently. You don't need to be consistent and tackle big goals, but work on tackling smaller goals over time to accomplish your bigger goals. Exactly. So it might be a little bit like self-explanatory about consistency, and me saying it, I'm just kind of reiterating it for myself and for others about how you may have a big goal. For example, like let's say YouTube, you want to get to you want to get to 500,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers, and you say, or you want to write, for example, you want to write one book, or like let's just say one book, or get 500,000 subscribers or something like that. If you break things down and then take action every day and every week and just try your best to keep the ball rolling, keep the wheel moving, that is what consistency is about. Consistency is about keeping things going as much as you can, with breaks included, but keeping things on a schedule and keeping things going. And it's not really about having one big thing to focus on and be overwhelmed by, but it is also about having this big mountain, but chipping away at each thing that can help you get towards it. And those things that you're chipping away at, those small steps and goals. And yeah, so I keep reiterating it. I need to use a different word. I can't say that word. Reiterate. I keep saying this again because it's important for me to remember and for you to understand my own insight on this. Is that breaking things down makes things easier to see and to understand. Okay, so the last point I mentioned is to take breaks. And it's funny because I mentioned it, but I'm not looking at this. So I say that the last point is quite counterintuitive. Why? Because you think, why would you mention a break if you're talking about being consistent? I swear to God, I didn't even read that, but I just said that because that's the first question that comes into your mind of how it could be counterintuitive. Like maybe you read it and then you understand my point, but you'll still feel, if the question was asked, that's the question you would ask, you know. And I mentioned that being consistent does not mean to work 24/7 without leaving room for a break. Being consistent means to work on something you want to achieve for a long time. Taking breaks is a great way to have the energy to work on what you want and produce the results at a higher level. When you take a small break to relax, you can come back with more energy and ideas to complete tasks. Okay? So this is just to mention, like, if you have a program where you're trying to build consistency, make sure you include breaks. Like, the definition of consistency doesn't include taking a break, but when you build a structure of one that includes consistency, I'm just saying add breaks into it, because when you work 24/7, meaning that, let me put it into kind of a better perspective. Let's say that you work a 9 to 5, and when you come back from home, you have this hobby that you're trying to work towards making an income from, you know, and it's quite a big goal for you, and you're taking steps every day or every week to build towards it. You're taking steps every day. Let's just say you work this 9 to 5, and then from pretty much from 6 to 9 you're working on, or 6 to 9 you're working on this. Come home, you work on it, and then you go to sleep, and then you go back to work and you work on your hobby, and you're in this cycle during the week. And then on weekends you're working even harder because you have more time. And what my experience of doing this, for example, like over the past 3 years, where I've had points where I've done this, and even during this past 2 months or 3 months of YouTube and whatever, is that it gets really tiresome, and then what can happen is that you burn out, and then you crash. Your system, you just crash because you're fatigued, and you're just tired of all of the work that you're doing. And what happens is that once you crash and you burn out, it's harder for you to recoup and come back into it, especially if you take like 1, 2, 3 days off. And it's easier to maintain a routine where you're including breaks into your schedules, like every like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days in the week that you're taking some sort of measure, some sort of way to relax and enjoy your time and spend time doing the things you love with the people you like and things like that. It helps you maintain a healthy kind of pattern during the year, rather than having periods of the year where you're crashing and you're having to come back and you're constantly including burnout in your routine during the year. So, and that isn't healthy long term, because there will be a time where you crash and you won't come back. That's the reality, and you can see examples of it in. There's many cases where that's happened before, and off the top of my head I can't remember, but there are cases of it where people would crash and then they just want to just leave it. I just don't want to do it because the crash was too heavy. And so in the conclusion, I mentioned that it is essential to take these steps and try them out. If you read this post and don't act upon it, then you've only done half the work. One half is to acquire knowledge, the other half is to use it. The only way to make 100% use of my posts is by learning and acting upon what you learn, so you can build experience on top of your knowledge. Good luck and practice consistency on the things you are passionate about. So when I say it's only half of the work, I mean it's only half to those who want to practice consistency from reading this post. Making those people, like reminding those people if they already knew, or making them understand if they didn't, that you read this post, and it's good for you that you've read this post, and I'm happy that you've even taken the time to read something of mine, which is, for me, is something I appreciate of the highest. Like any person that reads my posts or watches my videos or show some sort of support in any sort of way, I appreciate it a lot, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of my mental energy and to kind of put these out and share these. But I'm still making it clear that you've only done 50% of the journey that you're trying to take. The rest of the journey is something you have to kind of actually do. You have to act on it and learn from my stuff and learn from other people's stuff, and use that knowledge to form your own way of doing things and form your own understanding on consistency. And then you'll eventually have a way to teach it to other people in a way that you got it to work for yourself, and then that cycle will continue, because once you teach it to someone else, they'll practice it, use your knowledge and others, and form their own way, and then teach that way to others, and the cycle just continues. And you can see how knowledge has been passed down over time. It's just been that kind of thing of learning from someone else, trying it out, having your own understanding, and then teaching it to the next person. Cycle continues for however long it continues for. This video's been almost 24 minutes. I think that is a great place to leave it. These videos are getting longer. I hope I hope they don't really get too long after longer than 40 minutes. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next post.